And in a bit of modern relationship pop culture news,
Yeah.
Star Lord himself has publicly declared that his wife receives a hall pass if she ever got an opportunity to be with Usher. So apparently, who else is Owen Grady is his character's name in the Jurassic Park movies.
That's right.
So yeah, Owen Grady himself, Mr. Star Lord, Peter Quill, is cool with his wife getting a hall pass in order to be with Usher. And of course, this has some people talking. He's married to Arnold. He's married to the daughter of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah.
Yeah, Catherine Schwarzenegger is her name. And this here says Chris Pratt says Usher's wife, Catherine Schwarzenegger's hall pass. I can't blame her. Chris Pratt knows that his wife, Catherine Schwarzenegger, got it bad for Usher. The Guardians of the Galaxy star told Entertainment Tonight that the singer is his wife's hall pass crush. She knows every word. Pratt joked about Schwarzenegger's affinity for Usher's music. I didn't even know that until we were doing a little road trip and she started putting on Usher. He continued, and man, she knows every single word. So I guess Usher's her hall pass. I can't blame her. Pratt previously posted an Instagram video about the Super Bowl, whatever that number is, 53, Super Bowl 53 halftime show, where Schwarzenegger danced and sang along to My Boo Confessions and Burn. When Usher sang "Don't Leave Your Girl Around Me," was he talking to me? Captioned the post.
Hmm.
While Usher recently married his longtime partner Jennifer, I'm not going to attempt to say that. That last name is tricky there.
Hmm.
Schwarzenegger could be the next lucky woman who Usher serenades if he ever headlines a Las Vegas residency again.
My
So,
goodness.
what do you make of Star Lord himself, Mr. Peter Quill, saying that, "Hey man, I relent. My wife's hall pass is Usher. I don't blame her."
I think this is well, hey, this is some Hollywood stuff. So let's throw that caveat out there. So they do roll differently, and I'm pretty sure, so I think swinging is normal over there. Some cuckold action is normal over there. So they're not too this doesn't run them away. This is just hey, if she wants Usher, she can have him, And so I think this is a more of a Hollywood type of thing. However, I do think that this is slightly modern behavior because I've heard hall pass conversations before.
Well, they had the
And-
movie. They
Oh,
had the
I didn't
movie
know
Hall
that. They had
Pass.
a movie for hall passes.
That's that. I think that's where the whole. I think that's where the expression comes from.
Oh
They made
man,
a
that's
movie
crazy.
called Hall Pass back in the. Yeah, it had. I seen it before. I watched the movie. It had.
I
What's that
think I
guy's
saw
name?
it too.
He used to be on Saturday Night Live. I think Owen Wilson from
Yeah, I
Wedding
saw it.
Crashers,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
that.
this other guy. What's his name? Jason. I forget his last name. They both got a hall pass from their wives, and that was the plot of the movie.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I did see that. That was like, yeah, that was back in the dayish kind of. But yeah, so I think this is just outside of it being Hollywood. I think that this is also kind of new age ways of doing things, bro. So I'm not. I personally wouldn't subscribe to this. Listen, like if I got an old lady, and she's into a certain celebrity, you know, and either she listens to the person, watches their movies, but it's a little bit uncomfortable, if you get my drift. You can't leave her around that guy. Now, the cool part about it is what is the odds of her being around that guy so you're not sweating it? But if that guy came around, you know, your girl's not safe. She's not. I don't care what woman, if she has that kind of affinity for a man, she's gonna exercise, the celebrity kind. And if so let's say for instance, your girl's got a thing for Usher, let's say, and then she goes to a show with her and her girls, and he pulls a residency move on her. She's gonna do a Kiki Palmer. She's gonna do that. And so my whole thing, and that's just what people saw on stage. Now I'm not saying, that she gonna sleep with the man or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? It got her lubricated, and she's a little too excited. Another man got her excited. Like all these things are foul. Like you shouldn't even be looking in the man's direction, let alone him getting you aroused. So with all these things being said, there does have to be a mechanism, at least for me, there's a mechanism in the brain for where I go, man, if she ever does meet XYZ person, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be happy about that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was like, hey, bro, I already know how it is, if she were to ever be around somebody like that. But luckily for me, I don't have to really deal with that. But knowing that in my mind, I really feel like she'll do that with anybody. So my thing is, if that affinity thing where she just going crazy for it, yeah, man, I think that they have their own hall passes in their mind. But so being ahead of the curve for these what do you call these Hollyweirders? I think they should live open like this. So I think that this is a lifestyle more curtailed for them than the normal person because they have more access to these celebrities. So if I was in the celebrity world and my girl had a thing for Usher, it's danger now. You know, if I had a girl and she had a thing for a basketball player, I'm in danger now. But right now, as a normie, I can just chill and laugh it off. So Chris Pratt, yeah, I guess it's some Hollywood stuff. So what are your thoughts on Chris Pratt willing to give a hall pass to this old lady? You standing for that? And would you give a hall pass to your lady?
Hell no. Nope. But I'm old school, so I'm not with the. I don't do liberal relationships. I'm old
Yeah,
school,
very,
so
very
I
good.
don't believe in hall passes. I don't believe in polyamorous relationships. I don't think any of that stuff can be practically applied in any way that makes sense, unless you are a man with leverage. So I will say from, okay, and we talked about Neo before, and that was my overall point. I don't
Mm,
think polyamorous relationships work in the civilian world because I think that they are just a gateway for women to be able to get off as much as they want. Because there's no man who's a civilian who's ever going to have as many options as any one woman, unless you're dealing with a woman who is objectively unattractive. If she's even reasonably attractive, a six or better, there is no woman who's going to have less options than any one man. So if you're living this alternative lifestyle where you're embracing these new kinds of relationship setups and you're into doing things like providing hall passes in polyamorous relationships, the reason why I do not think that they can be applied unless you are a man of leverage is because in the civilian world, women will always have more options. And so you are merely opening the gateway for women to be able to exercise all of the options that they have with impunity. I am not for that personally, therefore, no, I wouldn't do it. Now, Chris Pratt, different story. As you suggested, he is a celebrity dude. He's got leverage. I know about him far more than I know about Catherine Schwarzenegger. The only reason why I even know that she exists is because she's married to him. And she's the daughter of Arnold. And I know who Arnold is. Shouts out to
right.
Predator, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the Predator movies. Well, the one he was in, the first one.
Mm,
So she, to me, as far as I'm concerned, is a relative unknown. I only know him because I'm a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I did watch those Jurassic World movies. I would watch Parks and Rec from time to time. I just know who Chris Pratt is. He's a funny dude. Seems like he's at least a likable guy to me, even though
right.
he is in that Hollywood stuff. So he is the person who is in a position of leverage. If he were to grant his wife a hall pass, I would assume that it would come with sets of parameters attached to them, parameters that would allow him to retain his position of leverage because she stands to lose more than him if they ended up breaking up. I mean, I'm just, Chris Pratt is, I'm not talking net worth and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know who Chris Pratt is, but I mean, I do know who he is as a celebrity type, but I don't know his money and all of that kind of stuff. But based on what I see, Chris Pratt's got this, and then here she is, and she's married to him. I feel like she stands to lose more if they are no longer together. Therefore, he is in a position of leverage. Therefore, he can set the terms of her hall pass. So, under those guidelines, I'm going to say fine. Even though it's not for me, I get it because I think that stuff can only be practically applied when you are a man who is in a position of leverage. Furthermore, it works so long as he gets his as well. So, him being Chris Pratt, he probably has somebody in mind who would be a hall pass for him if this thing was real. Because, he kind of gave the comments tongue in cheek. So, for all we know, he could have been joking. But then again, you can never put anything past this celebrity stuff. You never know. They do live in a different reality than the rest of us. They live in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
We live in the real world, they live in the multiverse. In the multiverse, I would imagine if she has her ideal hall pass person in mind, then he has his ideal hall pass person in mind. He's the guy who's in a position of leverage so he can set the terms. Therefore, even though it's alternative and it is not for me, I can't necessarily besmirch it because when you're in the multiverse, multiversal rules apply. So I just think stuff like this is weirdo for us in the civilian world. I'm not going to stand for it because if I'm a civilian, I know my girl has more options than me. So I'm not signing up for this because you're going to be getting off more than I am. I'm going to be out here trying to grind the midnight oil while you can just go to the grocery store and you can get three numbers thrown at you just by mistake because that is the reality of most women. Unless you're wearing a wedding ring, and even the ones wearing wedding rings still be getting,
Yeah, bro. That don't matter.
approached and all of that kind of stuff because
Yeah, that
it ain't
don't
no
matter.
rules these days.
There are no rules.
Ain't no code, ain't no rules. It's everything goes. It's a free for all out here. So, I get it if you're in a position of leverage. I don't get it if you are not. I would assume that he is in a position of leverage. Therefore, hey, bro, there you go. He probably got his own hall pass. I can't think of any of these celebrity chicks who's hot in the streets, but he probably got somebody in mind that he could think of, like, yeah, she'd be my hall pass. And so there y'all go. Swab it out and call it a day.
Yeah, man. And the reason why I have these neutral to liberal stance on these, it's kind of like I said in the Neo thing. It's the fact that people are living like this already and they don't want to acknowledge it. So for the ladies that take their men back and they know he openly cheated or whatever, yeah, you just gave him a hall pass. You idealistically don't want it, but that's what you just did. And and those women that do that or those men that do that, you've given out several passes. And you keep taking them back and you say, don't judge my life, don't judge my relationship. And so the reason why I have this stance is I really think that people out there that's living like this already need to be honest. They need to be honest with themselves. You are giving passes. And some people getting into a relationship wanting to have a pass later, because they plan on using it. They just, now's not the time. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So people are already living like this. So my thing is people just need to stop faking the funk and stop living these dual, double lives and stuff, and just be honest with your partner. And if you're getting with somebody, you go, hey, look, I ain't looking for no relationship, because that's what a lot of people are doing right now, these situationships. That's basically what it is. Hey, I ain't looking for no relationship. Hey, neither am I. And then y'all not looking in for a relationship together, but y'all spending time and y'all doing things and y'all know what's going on, and that's what's good. People just giving people passes. So my thing is that if people are going to be doing this and having these situationships and never building anything with that person and just moving on or whatever, and then nothing ever happens, I just say that, hey, man, try to build something with that, and try to make something of it instead of having more loose, disjointed families and other things. Now, again, like I said in the Neil thing, I don't know what that goes down the line, how that looks, but we already are seeing the results of no fathers in the house or no positive influences and none of that stuff. So, yeah, man. So these celebrity people, they do live in a different world, but I do think that it needs to be a more open conversation, just out here in the dating market in general, in all communities, because everybody dating everybody.
Yeah.
So there just needs to be an open conversation, and people just be real. And it's like, hey, look, man, I ain't looking for that, or I tend to get bored about 6 months in. How you feel about that? I don't know how the conversation gonna go, but people need to mature up and talk about this, because there's a lot of cheaters out here. And for all these people that want a monogamous situation and claim that they never have or never will cheat, we still have a lot of cheaters out here. So somebody's doing something. So they need to be honest. So but yeah, that's how I feel about it. So hey man, best of luck to the Schwarzenegger. Best of luck. I didn't know that's the dude from Parks and Recreation. I like looking at the Recreation clips. Yeah. So I guess he's the meat tornado guy, or the whatever that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny stuff, man. But Usher again, man, looking vampiric at the Met Gala, but he's being vampiric on these hoes apparently, man. So it is what it is, man. Hey man, you got it.
No, yeah, 100, man. I agree with you 100%. Honesty is the best policy. I do think the monogamous setup is achievable.
And it's
I
ideal.
do.
And it's
It, it,
ideal.
it, it is ideal. No, I think it's both ideal and achievable. The
Agreed.
problem is most people in the world, and this is in reference to the previous point that I was making in our last topic with Haddish. Most people can't get out of their own way.
Right.
And they don't know how to reconcile their nature in order to make the best decisions for themselves.
Correct.
And so it's unattainable, actually, because they can't make the right choice in order to attain it. So, like a lot of y'all, like a lot of women know that there's a likelihood that if I go out with this guy, he's probably going to be better suited to be a lifelong partner than this guy, and they choose the other guy anyway because they can't get out of their own way. And then they get into dealing with all of that stuff that they don't want to deal with. But it's there. It's just people just don't know how to get out of their own way. Man, we all of us, humans in general, we cannot get out of our own way. So while that is the situation in which we can't get out of our own way, yeah, you owe it to have that open and honest dialogue, because that's all the way true. And you have to bring it up because you never know.
Bro.
Yeah, you got to bring it up because they can either say yes or no, but you just want to you don't want to deal with turmoil and chaos constantly. Just bring it up so that people can make their own informed decisions. And hey, if you let somebody know you get wayward or you like to see other people or have sex with other people from time to time, even though you're still in a relationship, and they accept that, then there's no inner guilt that you have to deal with that you betrayed somebody because you were being dishonest the whole time.
Exactly.
So yeah, people do need to stop faking the funk. But I do think at the end of the day, these alternative lifestyles are applicable only, and this is where I might get a little sexist, but it's what I believe. It's my opinion, so it is what it is. I do think that these alternative setups, polyamory, polygamy, hall passes, these types of things only are sustainable when the man in the equation has leverage. If the man in the equation has no leverage, all it is her being able to do whatever she wants while you got to be out fighting to keep up with her. And you're not going to be able to keep up with her, bro. You're going to lose that battle every time.
Real quick, too. Hey, so get your guap up, Playboy. Hey, and let us know what you guys think in the chat. Would you guys sign up for a hall pass type of relationship, or you want to keep it traditional? Knowing most of the comments that I get that we get here in the Conscious Approach, you guys are some traditional people, which I enjoy. But would you guys do the hall pass? Let us know in the comments.
What you get, like once a year? Y'all gonna have to come up with a contract once a year. Each of us gets one.
It's too much, bro. That's what I'm saying. It get messy, bro. You know, it's too messy. That's why I said the traditional way is ideal, bro.
Yeah,
you got that settled. Now you can just take on life instead of worry about all this extra stuff.
Yeah. Good luck to all y'all alternatives out there, man. Shouts out to Chris Pratt, man. Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the good MCU franchises.